What do you do when someone close to you, someone you love, suddenly shows you a side of themselves you never expected? My name is Alice, and this is the story of how a day that was supposed to be filled with joy and celebration turned into a nightmare that shook everything I thought I knew about the people closest to me. Keep watching to find out how this story unfolds, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated with more stories like this where family, betrayal, and strength collide. My name is Alice, and my life has been full of love and support, but also filled with challenges I've had to face head-on. I was born with a physical condition that requires me to use a wheelchair, but that has never stopped me from achieving my goals. I grew up in a family of 5, with my loving parents who have since passed away, and my younger brother, Ben. Ben has always been incredibly supportive, though sometimes a little overprotective. Still, despite my physical challenges, I've lived a happy, fulfilling life. Now, as the CEO of my own company, I'm a busy woman busy with work, but still managing to find joy in the things I do. Even though I have a disability, I push myself to the limit in everything I do. My journey wasn't easy, but through hard work and determination, I studied hard, worked hard, and eventually started my own business. I proved that nothing could hold me back. One afternoon, as I was reviewing the company schedule with my secretary, I received an unexpected call. Hello? Hey, Alice, it's Ben. Hey, what's going on? Sorry to interrupt you while you're busy, but I have some big news. I'm getting married. Wow, really? Congratulations. Tell me about them. What are they like? We met through work. They're kind, really good at cooking and housework. Just wonderful. That's great. I'm so happy for you, Ben. As your sister, I'm relieved you found someone great. Stop talking like Mom. You sound just like her. Well, I was just worried if you could really find someone so wonderful. The wedding's in 5 months, so it's coming up fast. That's pretty quick, isn't it? With everything going on these days, we just feel it's the right time. I'm sorry it's all rushed, but I'll definitely be there. It's your wedding after all, but don't forget, you better come to mine someday too. Thanks, Alice. Wait, your wedding? I didn't know anything about that. Don't work too hard, okay? See you soon. I managed to shuffle my schedule around to attend Ben's wedding, though I hadn't met his fiancée yet. I was busy managing the company and Ben was busy with his own work, so we hadn't had the chance to meet. But I was happy for him and excited to see him marry the love of his life. When the day of the wedding finally arrived, I was just about to enter the venue when I heard someone call out, Hey you, wait a moment. Are you talking to me? Of course, it's obvious. I'm the bride, the star of today's show. Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Alice, Ben's sister. It was nice to meet Carol, the bride, but something about her attitude seemed off. She greeted me with a smile, but there was an underlying tension in her voice, something I couldn't quite place. Hey, what's with this woman? I can't believe this! Carol suddenly snapped. Nicole, what's going on? Don't touch me. I wasn't told that Ben had a sister like you. I knew he had a sister, but not like this. I had no idea. It was clear now Nicole, the bride's friend, wasn't thrilled to meet me, and it seemed to be because of how I looked. I could feel the sting of her words, but I didn't let them affect me. She didn't know me and she didn't understand. And yet, I could see the judgment in her eyes, a judgment I hadn't expected at my own brother's wedding. In that moment, all I could do was take a deep breath and remind myself of the strength that had brought me this far. Strength that I would continue to carry with me no matter what others thought. What's the matter with you? She said. I don't care if you're Ben's sister or whatever. That's a different matter. How will you compensate if you infect me with something? Please calm down. There's nothing about me that you can catch. Keep quiet. Your droplets are spreading. I can't believe this. People like you should be mentioned beforehand. Finding this out on the wedding day is the worst. Worst? What about me is the worst? You should figure it out yourself. Anyway, Ben and I are getting married, so I'll have to deal with you whether I like it or not. If people find out someone like you is my sister-in-law, I'll be humiliated in front of everyone. Use your head a bit. Use my head? What do you mean? I'm saying you should be considerate enough to leave. Can't you look at yourself in the mirror and feel ashamed? Am I an embarrassment to you? Yes, all of it. Everything about this is embarrassing. Even my close friends and boss are here, and it's embarrassing that they'll know you're part of the family. So do you always think like this? Huh? That's none of your business. Since I've caught Ben, the CEO, don't you dare get in my way. I was sure that Carol was tricking my brother. She was clearly pretending to be nice. My brother, who is always kind and never gets angry, had been fooled by a strange woman. Before remembering those times, I didn't want to make things worse on his special day. Thinking about how important this day was for my brother, I decided to leave quietly. Then I'll be leaving now. I'll just leave a gift here. Huh? I don't need money from someone like you. You don't even look like you can hold a decent job. You're just leeching off Ben, aren't you? I bet your gift is something small like $7, right? Is that so? Then I'll take this 70,000 gift back with me. It's quite heavy, though. 70,000 gift back with me. It's quite heavy, though. 70,000 gift back with me. It's quite heavy, though. 70,000? Wait, if you had that much money, you should have said so earlier. I'll take it. Sorry, I've already put it away. It's too late now. I'll be leaving then. No, you leave that gift here. And why do you even have that much money? Oh, I see. That's money you took from Ben, isn't it? No, actually, I run a company that makes mobility equipment with a global reputation. Even though I look different, my company makes $700 million a year, so a gift like this is no big deal. All the more reason to leave that 70,000 here. I'll use it for Ben and my happiness. Honestly, I don't approve of your marriage to my brother. I can't accept someone like you who is just after his money. Stop raising your voice. It's your fault for being deceived. What's all this about? My brother Ben appeared, and Carol looked shocked. This is, well, what are you talking about, brother? No, it's not like that. I'm not after the money. I just wanted to support and be there for you. Ben, hey, Carol, what did you say to my precious sister Alice? What did you mean by what you said? Ben, why are you so angry? It doesn't matter to me if you're after my money or whatever. You can do as you like. It's my responsibility, and even if we break up someday, I won't be angry. But what I absolutely won't forgive is you disrespecting my dear Alice. I was taken aback by the sight of my usually calm and reserved brother raising his voice, but I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and relief as I heard him standing up for me. It was a moment I'd never forget. Meanwhile, Carol, who had just been reprimanded by my brother, scoffed and said, "Well, if she has to be here, fine. She can come to the wedding, okay?" Ben wasn't having it. What do you mean, she can come? Do you think I need your permission? You think I'd go through with a wedding with someone who treats my sister like this, who disrespects her in front of everyone? No way. It's not happening. Why not? Carol shot back, clearly bewildered. Ben's expression hardened. You have no idea how much Alice has been through. We both lost our parents when we were young. Alice was just a little girl when our parents passed away. And despite everything, she still put on a brave face. I remember she would cry when she missed them, but then she'd wipe her tears and smile at me, telling me to be strong. She was so young, but she always made me feel better, and she still does. That smile of hers has kept me going through the toughest times. And you insult someone who means everything to me? That's unforgivable. You need to apologize to Alice right now. So Carol tried to dismiss his words. Supporting each other? You're exaggerating everything, Ben. Ben wasn't done. Take back every word you said about Alice. Look her in the eyes and apologize properly. No more excuses. At that point, I stood still, overwhelmed by the emotions flooding me. Ben's defense of me was something I hadn't realized I needed so much. We had been through so much together, and hearing him speak up for me in front of everyone made me feel stronger. Just then, someone else walked up to us. "Sorry to interrupt," said a man I recognized but couldn't place. "Do you even know what kind of company you're working for?" "Wait, why is the CEO here?" Ben asked, puzzled. The man glanced at Ben, then at me. "Ben has been a great help to me in business," he said, "and we even go out to eat together when we have time off. Our company is a distributor of mobility equipment, but the way you're behaving, it's just unacceptable, from every angle." I stared at him, recognizing him now. Wait, David? Why are you here? David smiled awkwardly. I asked David to come. I'm sorry you had to witness this, he explained. But do you know Alice? I had no idea either. But surprise, I'm actually in a relationship with Alice and I want to marry her. So I'm here asking for my brother-in-law's permission. Ben blinked, shocked. Wait, what? David, you're talking about being my brother-in-law now? Yeah, this is typical David, Fiona interrupted, attempting to lighten the mood. But I trust you, David. I know you'll take good care of Alice. Ben raised an eyebrow, clearly processing what had just been revealed. Wait a minute. Alice is marrying David, the CEO of the company Carol works for? That's incredible. But don't mistake this for luck, Carol. Alice worked hard to get where she is today. She faced every obstacle head-on and built her success through hard work and intelligence. So don't belittle her achievements. And then Carol finally spoke again, her voice full of disbelief. Wait a second. So this woman, Alice, is the girlfriend of the CEO and Ben is her brother? This is mind-blowing. But honestly, Alice is no stranger to working hard. She deserves everything she's earned. And by the way, she just became my fiancée today, so you should understand what it means to insult the woman I'm marrying. Everything felt surreal, but in that moment, I realized that I wasn't just part of my brother's life anymore. I had my own story, one that had taken so much to build, and now I had David, my fiancé, by my side. Carol replied defiantly, So what if I did? I don't care if she's your girlfriend, friend, or fiancé, or whatever. What's a CEO going to do? It's just personal stuff, right? Well, yes, David replied calmly. But there are clients here, and the company's reputation is at stake. Your remarks, Carol, are a serious issue in my company. Such behavior would be grounds for dismissal. I don't want to work with a company that harbors individuals like you. You can't just fire me. That would be a problem, Carol protested. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I can't stand the idea of someone like you becoming my sister-in-law. If you can understand why you need to apologize, then there's no point in talking any further, David said firmly. Wait, please. Breaking off the engagement and getting fired are big problems for me. How am I supposed to live if that happens? Carol begged, her tone desperate. Why don't you look for another company? David suggested calmly. I'm done with you, Carol, David said firmly. But you still want me to get you a job at my company? Carol's eyes widened with desperation. Ben, please, can you help me get a job? I'm your sister-in-law. Isn't there something you can do? She pleaded. Ben shook his head slowly. Carol, you really don't get it, do you? After all this mess, there's no way you're getting hired at my company. It's not about family ties. It's about trust and respect. But I'm family. Isn't it embarrassing to leave me unemployed? Carol's voice cracked as she tried to defend herself. Embarrassing? No, it's not embarrassing, Ben said, his tone softening slightly. But if you're just calling this a mistake, it means you actually believe what you said. You haven't shown any real intention to apologize. It doesn't look like you mean it. Carol's face flushed with panic as she realized the gravity of her situation. I didn't mean to offend anyone. I just said the wrong thing. If it was a mistake, Carol, it was a big one, David said, his expression serious. I faced many people's judgments, but you're the first to speak so openly and harshly to me. It was a shock, but now I see that some people really think like you do. Does that mean you'll forgive me? Carol asked, her eyes wide with hope. No, I can't forgive you, David replied. Shaking his head. Who wouldn't be upset after hearing what you said? Imagine if someone spoke to you like that. Would you be happy? If it were me, I'd probably respond even more harshly. Carol admitted, her voice barely a whisper. Well, it's going to be tough for you from now on, but good luck, David said, turning away from her. Marrying someone who can say such hurtful things is impossible. Our parents in heaven would be disappointed if I married someone like that. Alice nodded in agreement. That's true. Mom was so kind, and Dad was very compassionate. I see now that my idea of a perfect couple was based on them. I want to have a relationship like that with David. David smiled at Alice, his eyes softening. "We can build that kind of relationship together, Alice." Ben stepped forward, his expression stern. "David, could you let go of Alice's hand for a moment? It seems you've made your decision, brother. And one more thing, Carol, you are responsible for all the wedding expenses." Carol's face fell. "Ouch, that's going to be a big hit on my wallet," she muttered, her voice filled with despair. "Well, Carol," David continued, "I think it's best to call off the wedding. I've already told all my friends, and I've posted about the dress, the food, and the venue on social media." Carol's eyes widened with realization. No, I can't have the wedding called off. I've already told everyone. I've shared everything online. How am I supposed to explain this?" "Maybe you should delete those posts," David suggested calmly. "Most people who see them don't even know you. Is it really worth boasting to strangers about something that's not going to happen?" Carol looked around frantically, trying to find a way out of her predicament. "Wait, please. This is impossible. You have to reconsider. Think about it, please," she begged. David sighed, looking at Carol with a mix of pity and resolve. "Carol, you need to think this over. What you did was hurtful and disrespectful. It's going to be hard for you, but you have to face the consequences of your actions." As David turned to leave, Carol's voice grew more desperate. "Please, David, don't leave me like this. I'll do anything to make it right," she cried. David paused for a moment, then continued walking away, leaving Carol to reflect on her actions. The reality of her situation was finally sinking in, and she realized that she had to take responsibility for the chaos she had caused. Meanwhile, Alice and Ben watched the scene unfold with a sense of relief and closure. They knew that their family dynamics would be different from now on, but they also understood that this change was necessary for everyone involved. As they left, Alice took David's hand, feeling a sense of hope for their future together. Despite the turmoil, she knew that they had made the right decision and that they could face whatever challenges lay ahead with confidence and strength. Back at home, Alice and David sat down together, reflecting on the events of the day. "I'm so proud of you, David," Alice said softly. "You stood up for what's right, even when it was difficult." David smiled, holding Alice close. "I couldn't have done it without you, Alice. You've been my rock through all of this, and I'm so grateful for your support." As they looked out the window, the sun set on a day that marked a new beginning for them both. They knew that the road ahead wouldn't always be easy, but they were ready to face it together with love and determination. And so they moved forward, leaving the past behind and embracing the future with open hearts and unwavering faith in each other. "I feel like I hear something, but let's not worry about it and move on. Wait, where are you going, brother?" "We're off to host an engagement party for David and Alice." "Well then, my princess, shall we go?" "Wait, what? Brother David, this is suddenly so embarrassing." Thanks to my brother's kind planning, what was supposed to be a simple wedding turned into a surprise engagement party for David and me. Many of our colleagues and mutual friends were invited. When David and I arrived and started greeting everyone, my brother suddenly began crying. Some people found it amusing and laughed, while others, maybe feeling touched, also shed some tears. Because of my brother's kind nature, David and I could announce our engagement in a warm and friendly setting. It felt good to have the support and love of our friends and family around us. Everyone seemed genuinely happy for us, and it made the moment even more special. Meanwhile, Carol was kicked out of the venue just as my brother had said she would be. Carol had to pay for the entire cost of the ceremony and went into debt to cover it. She had hoped to show off her new status as the CEO's wife and enjoy some fame and respect. However, things didn't go as she planned. She was fired from her job, and instead of living the life of a CEO's wife, she's now being chased by debt collectors. Carol had planned to live with my brother, so her apartment lease had already been canceled. Now she's left without a place to live and is dealing with the reality of her situation. Some people in the industry said they saw her in the park looking lost and distressed, but it's unclear if it was really her. The glamorous life she hoped for has crumbled, and she's facing the harsh truth of her decisions. As for me, Alice, I'm finally getting married to David. Don't worry, we will live happily together. My brother assures me that David is trustworthy and that we will have a wonderful life together. We're excited to start this new chapter and build a happy future. I know it's safe, but there's still this uneasy feeling I can't quite put into words. What is this feeling? Hey, Ben, I hope it's not too forward of me to ask, but could the four of us visit the grave on our next day off? I'd really like to meet your parents, too. David, you're such a kind soul. Honestly, you're going to make me tear up again, Ben said, trying to laugh. Thanks to David's thoughtful suggestion, we decided that on our next day off, we'd visit my parents' grave. It felt like the right thing to do, something that held meaning and would bring us all closer together. Even though Ben had recently gone through the heartache of breaking off his engagement, he remained his usual upbeat self, and that was such a comfort. He's been through so much, yet he keeps his strength. I really hope that someday someone amazing walks into his life, someone who will love him as much as he deserves. He's a person who brings light into everyone's life, and I believe he deserves that same happiness in return. As I thought more about it, I realized that my brother likely felt the same way. He has always been someone who cares deeply about others, and I know that in his heart, he wants the best for those around him. I looked up at the sky, a brilliant shade of blue, not a cloud in sight. There was something so calming about it, and I couldn't help but feel like it was the perfect backdrop for what we were about to do. Watching my brother stand there, gazing at the sky, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. He's always been the one there for me, protecting me, making sure I had what I needed. And in that moment, I silently thanked him in my heart, appreciating every act of kindness and support he's given me over the years. As we began to plan our visit, I realized how significant it would be. Visiting the grave wasn't just about honoring the past, it was about reconnecting with where we came from and the people who shaped our lives. It's about acknowledging the legacy they've left us, even in ways we might not fully understand. I knew that visiting the grave would bring up so many emotions, but it felt right to do it together. David's suggestion had opened up an opportunity to share something personal and meaningful, something that would bring us even closer as a family. I could already feel how this experience would bond us, and I was grateful for that. My brother has always been someone I look up to. He's faced so many challenges with unwavering strength and a smile, and no matter how tough things got, he never let them defeat him. I admire his resilience and his heart. I know he's going to find happiness again. It's only a matter of time before someone special sees him for the incredible man he is. As I reflected on everything, I realized just how much my brother has sacrificed for me. He's always put my needs first, doing whatever it took to make sure I had everything I needed. He's been my rock, my guide, and my best friend. I can't imagine where I'd be without his love and support. The gratitude I feel for him is as vast and endless as the sky above. As he stood there, lost in thought, I silently thanked him. Thank you for everything. Thank you for always being there when I needed you, for raising me with such love. This visit wasn't just a chance to honor my parents. It was a way to acknowledge the strength of our family bond, a chance to support one another through the trials of life. I looked forward to the day when we could all stand together at the grave, reflecting on the past and finding hope for the future. My brother's kindness and strength inspire me every day. I truly hope he finds someone who cherishes him for who he is and makes him as happy as he has made me. He deserves a love that fills him with joy, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for him. As we prepared for the visit, I felt a profound sense of peace. We were doing something meaningful together. It was a reminder of the importance of family, the bonds that can never be broken no matter what we go through. I was so grateful for the opportunity to share this special moment with Ben and David, and I knew it would be a day none of us would ever forget. What do you do when everything you've worked for, all the love and support you've received, and the relationships that matter most to you are tested? How do you handle betrayal and disrespect in the face of what should be a joyous occasion? Alice's journey has been filled with hard-won success, but it was her family that stood by her when the world seemed to be falling apart. Her brother Ben's wedding day was meant to be a celebration, but Carol's harsh words and judgment shook Alice to her core. It was in that moment of adversity, however, that Alice learned just how strong the bond with her brother truly was. Ben didn't hesitate to stand up for Alice. defending her honor in front of everyone, and that act of love was more powerful than anything Carol could throw at them. The confrontation with Carol didn't just end with words. It led to the breaking of an engagement, the loss of a job, and the unraveling of a carefully constructed facade that Carol had built around herself. Alice, despite everything, stood tall. She had her brother's love, David's support, and her own inner strength to rely on. What Carol tried to tear down was now solidified. Alice was no longer just Ben's sister. She had built her own legacy, and nothing, not even Carol's insults, could take that away from her. The wedding, which had been marred by tension, transformed into an engagement celebration for Alice and David. Surrounded by friends and family, Alice realized that this was just the beginning of a new chapter. Together with David, she was ready to face the future with the same determination and love that had carried her this far. What do you think? How would you respond if someone you loved was disrespected in such a way? Would you stand up for them, just as Ben did? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more stories of love, family, and resilience.
I always knew my sister's engagement party would be the death of me, but I never expected it to end with me being accused of sleeping with her fiancé in front of 200 guests. My name is Sawyer, and I've spent 28 years being Caroline's little sister. You know the type, the golden child who excels at everything while you're just there. Tonight was supposed to be her moment again, and I was determined to fade into the background like always. The Grand Plaza Hotel's ballrooms sparkled with champagne flutes and fake smiles. I adjusted my emerald dress, the one Caroline picked out because it wouldn't overshadow her white designer gown, and tried to blend in with the potted plants. There's my favorite wallflower. Blaze appeared beside me, his familiar grin offering temporary relief. You look like you're having about as much fun as a root canal. That obvious? I sipped my champagne. I'm trying to perfect my invisibility act. Good luck with that. Your mother's been telling everyone how her baby is still single while Caroline landed the perfect man. He rolled his eyes. Speaking of Prince Charming, Dylan was working the room like a politician, his perfectly styled hair and $1,000 suit screaming old money. He caught my eye and winked. I quickly looked away, my stomach churning. God, I need air, I muttered, heading for the terrace. Blaze followed, concern etched on his face. Saw what's wrong? You've been off all night. Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. Another message from Dylan. I'd been getting them for weeks, each one more inappropriate than the last. I deleted it without reading, just like all the others. Nothing's wrong, I lied. Just family stuff. Ladies, my mother's voice cut through the night air. Caroline's about to give her speech. Get inside now. We shuffled back in as Caroline took center stage, radiant in white. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight, she began, her voice carrying across the room, especially my beautiful sister Sawyer. My chest tightened. This wasn't in the script. My sister, who's always been there for me. Caroline's voice cracked. Who I trusted completely. She turned to face me, tears streaming down her face. How could you sleep with him? The room went silent. 200 pairs of eyes locked onto me. What? I stammered. Caroline, I saw the messages, she screamed. On his phone. All those late-night texts, the pictures. Caroline, please. Dylan stepped forward, playing the concerned fiancé perfectly. Let's discuss this privately. No, she pulled away from him. I want everyone to know what kind of sister she is. Rosalie, Caroline's best friend, rushed to her side. Care, honey, let's go somewhere quiet. I stood frozen as whispers erupted around me. My mother's face had turned to stone. Blaze gripped my arm, keeping me upright as my world imploded. I never slept with him, I said, my voice stronger than I felt. Caroline, you have to believe me. Show them your phone then, Rosalie challenged, her eyes glinting with something I couldn't quite place. Show everyone the messages. Yes, show us, Caroline demanded. My hands shook as I pulled out my phone. I deleted them all. He wouldn't stop sending them, but I never responded. Not once. How convenient, someone muttered in the crowd. Caroline, I stepped toward my sister, but she backed away. You know me. I would never. I thought I knew you, she spat. I guess I was wrong. The room spun as Caroline stormed out, Rosalie close behind. Dylan gave me one last look. Was that a smirk? Before following them. Well, my mother said, her voice arctic, I suppose the party's over. As guests began filtering out, Blaze pulled me aside. What really happened? I took a shaky breath. Remember when you said I've been off lately? It's because of Dylan. He's been messaging me for weeks, getting more aggressive each time. I kept deleting them because I didn't want to hurt Caroline, but I pulled out an envelope from my clutch. I also kept screenshots, just in case. In case of what? I watched as Rosalie hurried after my sister, her designer heels clicking against the marble floor. Something about her eagerness to fuel the drama didn't sit right. In case exactly this happened, I said quietly, and now I think I know why. The ballroom emptied around us, leaving behind half-empty champagne glasses and shattered family ties. But as I gripped the envelope containing proof of Dylan's true nature, one thing became crystal clear. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. You need to see this now, I said, pounding on Caroline's apartment door. The hallway was eerily quiet at midnight, but I knew she was home. Her car was in its usual spot, and I'd seen her bedroom light on. Go away. Her voice was thick with tears. Care, please. I have proof. I pressed my forehead against the door. I'm not leaving until you let me show you. The lock clicked, and Caroline appeared. Mascara streaked across her face. She'd changed into sweatpants, but still wore her engagement party jewelry, a painful reminder of the evening's disaster. 5 minutes, she said coldly. Then you leave. I followed her inside, clutching the envelope like a lifeline. The apartment was a mess. Flowers torn apart, photos face down, an empty wine bottle on the coffee table. Where's Rosalie? I asked, noticing her best friend's absence. She went to get more wine. Caroline collapsed onto the couch. Someone should be enjoying my engagement party. I sat beside her, keeping distance between us. Remember when we were kids and I broke Mom's favorite vase? You took the blame because you knew she'd go easier on you. What's your point? My point is, I've never forgotten that, or any other time you've had my back. I pulled out my phone. Which is why I would never betray you like this. I opened my screenshots folder and handed her the phone. These started 3 months ago. At first they were casual, asking about your favorite things, claiming he wanted to surprise you. Then they got different. Caroline's hands trembled as she scrolled. Her face paled with each message. I can't stop thinking about you. She read aloud. Caroline doesn't understand me like you do. We should meet somewhere private. She looked up, eyes wide. You never responded. Not once, I confirmed. I blocked him twice, but he kept using new numbers. I saved everything because something felt wrong, like he was setting me up. But why would he? The door opened, and Rosalie bustled in with 2 bottles of wine. She froze when she saw me. What is she doing here? Rosalie's voice was sharp. Showing me some interesting messages, Caroline said quietly. You wouldn't know anything about those, would you, Rose? Rosalie's perfectly manicured hand tightened around the wine bottle. Care, honey, you're upset. Don't let her manipulate you. Funny choice of words, I said, pulling more papers from my envelope, especially considering these. I spread out printed screenshots of conversations between Dylan and Rosalie. Weeks of planning, coordinating when to send messages, discussing how to make Caroline doubt me. Where did you get those? Rosalie whispered. Blaze works in cybersecurity, I said. Amazing what you can recover from a cloud backup, even after deletion. Want to explain why you're helping Dylan set me up? Caroline stood, wine forgotten. Rose, tell me this isn't real. Rosalie's facade cracked. He promised. It wasn't supposed to. She took a shaky breath. You don't understand. Dylan and I. How long? Caroline's voice was deadly quiet. 6 months, Rosalie whispered. He said he'd leave you for me, but he needed a reason that wouldn't hurt his reputation. When he noticed how jealous you get about Sawyer, I caught Caroline as her knees buckled. Together, we sank onto the couch while Rosalie stood awkwardly, still clutching her wine bottles like shields. Get out, Caroline said. Care, please. Get out! Caroline hurled a throw pillow at her former best friend. Rosalie fled, leaving the apartment door wide open behind her. For a long moment, we sat in silence. Then Caroline turned to me, fresh tears falling. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I should have known you'd never. Hey, I pulled her into a hug. You're not the one who needs to apologize. I humiliated you in front of everyone. She pulled back, wiping her eyes. God, Mom probably thinks. Mom always thinks the worst of me anyway. I shrugged. But that's not important right now. What matters is what we're going to do about this. Caroline's eyes narrowed. What do you mean? I picked up one of the screenshots. Well, we have proof that your fiancé and best friend conspired to humiliate both of us. They tried to destroy our relationship to cover up their affair. A small smile played at my lips. Question is, how do we want to return the favor? For the first time that night, Caroline smiled back, a dangerous glint in her eye that I recognized from our childhood pranking days. Tell me more, she said. As I began outlining my thoughts, I realized something had shifted. For the first time in our lives, Caroline wasn't the star and I wasn't the shadow. We were equals, united against a common enemy. And heaven help anyone who tried to come between sisters out for revenge. Check your deleted messages folder, I said, watching Caroline scroll through her phone. We'd moved to her kitchen table, surrounded by coffee cups and revenge plans. Dylan might have gotten sloppy. I never even knew there was a deleted folder. Caroline's fingers trembled as she navigated through her settings. Oh my God. What? There are dozens of messages, from both of them. She looked up, face pale. They were deleting them from my phone remotely using some app. I pulled my chair closer. Show me. The messages painted a sickening picture. While Dylan was sending me inappropriate texts, he'd been carrying on a full-blown affair with Rosalie. They'd even used Caroline's own apartment when she was at work. That's why she always offered to water my plants, Caroline whispered. I gave her a key because I trusted her. Keep reading. Caroline's gasp echoed through the kitchen. They were planning to announce their engagement next month, at my parents' anniversary party. She slammed the phone down. He was going to dump me in front of our entire family. And blame it all on me, I added. The jealous little sister who ruined everything. No one would question it. Mom would have disowned you. Pretty sure she already has. I took a sip of coffee. But that's not important right now. What matters is that we have everything we need. Caroline's phone buzzed. Dylan's name flashed on the screen. Perfect timing, I said. Answer it, on speaker. Caroline's hand shook as she hit the button. Hello? Baby, please. Dylan's voice oozed concern. Let me explain. Your sister's been throwing herself at me for months. I didn't want to hurt you by telling you. Save it, Caroline snapped. I've seen the messages, the real ones. A pause. What messages? The ones between you and Rosalie, the ones you deleted from my phone. Caroline's voice grew stronger. The ones about your little plan. Caroline, you're upset. You're not thinking clearly. Actually, I'm thinking very clearly. She met my eyes across the table. Clear enough to know that if you don't meet me at Cafe Luna tomorrow at noon, every single screenshot goes to your father. I wonder how the board of directors would feel about their CEO's son planning to humiliate his fiancée. Another pause, longer this time. You're bluffing. I leaned toward the phone. Hi, Dylan. Remember all those messages you sent me? The ones I never responded to? Turns out they're pretty damning when paired with your conversations with Rosalie, especially the parts about using me as your scapegoat. Sawyer. Noon tomorrow. Caroline interrupted. Bring Rosalie. Don't be late. She hung up before he could respond. For a moment, we sat in silence. That felt good, she finally said. Just wait until tomorrow. I pulled out my laptop. Now, about those security cameras in Cafe Luna. What about them? Let's just say Blaze owes me a favor, and he's very good at his job. Caroline's eyes lit up with understanding. You want to record the confrontation? Better. I typed rapidly, pulling up blueprints of the cafe. I want to broadcast it, live. To who? Remember that group chat Mom has with all her society friends? The one she added us to, but we never use? I grinned. Turns out Dylan's mom is in it, along with half the country club. Caroline matched my grin. And the board members' wives. Exactly. I closed the laptop. But first we need to make a few calls, starting with that wedding planner who's been blowing up your phone. Amanda, why? Because she's also the event coordinator for your parents' anniversary party. The one where Dylan planned to humiliate you? I raised an eyebrow. I think she deserves a heads up about the change in entertainment. Caroline pulled out her phone again, determination replacing grief in her eyes. What else? We need to call the jewelry store first thing tomorrow. That engagement ring needs to be returned before Dylan can get his hands on it. Already done. Caroline twisted the ring off her finger. I'm meeting them at 10 a.m. Perfect. I stood, stretching. Get some sleep. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. Caroline caught my arm as I headed for the door. Sawyer, thank you for not giving up on me even when I didn't believe you. That's what sisters are for. I hugged her tight. Besides, no one messes with the Townsend girls. No one, she agreed. As I drove home, my phone lit up with a message from Blaze. Cameras are set, audio too. Whatever you're planning, it better be good. I smiled in the darkness. Good didn't begin to cover what we had in store for tomorrow. Dylan and Rosalie thought they could play us against each other. They were about to learn exactly how wrong they were. Cafe Luna buzzed with its usual lunch crowd, but the tension at our corner table could have cut glass. Caroline sat beside me, elegant in a black dress that screamed, "Funeral for my relationship." Blaze lounged at the counter, pretending to work on his laptop while actually managing our live feed. They're late, Caroline muttered, checking her phone. They'll come. I adjusted my water glass, making sure it wouldn't block the hidden camera. Too much at stake not to. Right on cue, Dylan strode in, Rosalie trailing behind him. He'd worn his power suit, the one he used for board meetings. Rosalie looked like she hadn't slept, her designer outfit wrinkled and her makeup slightly smudged. Caroline, darling, Dylan started, pulling out a chair. Sit down and shut up, Caroline said pleasantly. Several nearby diners glanced over. Perfect. There's no need for drama. Dylan lowered his voice. We can discuss this privately. Like you discussed things privately in my apartment? Caroline's voice carried just enough to draw more attention. While I was at work? Rosalie sank into her chair, face burning. Please. Don't call me that. Caroline pulled out her phone. Only my friends call me that. You know, friends who don't sleep with my fiancé. This is ridiculous. Dylan straightened his tie. Whatever you think you have. I slid my tablet across the table. We have everything. Every message, every plan, every detail about how you were going to blame me for your affair and humiliate Caroline at her parents' anniversary party. Those messages could be faked, Dylan scoffed, but his face had paled. True, I nodded. But the security footage from Caroline's building isn't faked. Neither are the hotel receipts, or the messages you sent me. I leaned forward. Want to see them all? The board members' wives are watching right now. Live. Dylan's head snapped up, finally noticing Blaze in his laptop. His composure cracked. You wouldn't dare. Already did. Caroline smiled sweetly. Wave to your mother, Dylan. She just joined the stream. Rosalie burst into tears. I'm so sorry. He said he loved me. He promised we'd be together. Save it, I cut in. We saw your messages too. This was your idea, wasn't it? The plan to blame me? Rosalie glanced at Dylan, who was frantically checking his phone. Yes, I knew Caroline was always sensitive about you getting attention. It seemed perfect. Perfect? Caroline's voice shook. I've known you since college. You were my maid of honor. And you had everything, Rosalie snapped. The perfect job, the perfect fiancé, the perfect life. I was just your shadow, always the backup plan. How's it feel? I asked quietly. Being someone's shadow? The irony wasn't lost on Caroline. She reached for my hand under the table. The ring, she said to Dylan. It's already back at the jeweler's, along with evidence of how you used company funds to pay for your little rendezvous. Dylan's face went from pale to gray. You can't prove... Check your email, I suggested. The board should be receiving their copies right about now. His phone buzzed, then buzzed again, and again. You've ruined me, he whispered. No, Caroline stood, her voice clear and strong. You ruined yourself, and you tried to ruin my relationship with my sister in the process. I never meant, Rosalie started. To get caught, I finished. Funny how that works. Dylan grabbed Rosalie's arm. We're leaving. This isn't over. Actually, it is, Blaze called from the counter. The stream just hit 10,000 viewers, including, according to these comments, your father and the entire board. Oh, and Rosalie? Caroline added. Your resignation letter from the firm has already been accepted. Amazing how quickly they act when they discover you've been sharing confidential client information with your lover. Rosalie crumpled, mascara streaming down her face. Dylan practically dragged her toward the door, leaving behind his untouched water and what remained of his dignity. The cafe erupted in applause. Someone shouted, "Girl power," from the back. Well, Blaze joined us, closing his laptop. That was better than Netflix. Caroline laughed, a real laugh, maybe her first in days. I can't believe we actually did it. Believe it, I grinned, though Mom's probably having a stroke right now. Let her, Caroline said firmly. For once, I don't care what anyone thinks. You were right all along, and I should have trusted you. Water under the bridge, I waved down a waiter. Now I think this calls for champagne. To Karma, Caroline raised her water glass. To sisters, I corrected. Blaze's phone chimed. Guys, the video's going viral. You might want to prepare for some interesting family dinners. Caroline and I looked at each other and burst out laughing. Let them talk. We'd shown them all exactly what happens when you try to come between sisters. And something told me no one would dare try again. The aftermath hit like a tidal wave. By evening, our phones wouldn't stop buzzing with notifications, calls, and messages. Caroline and I retreated to my apartment where we sat cross-legged on my living room floor, sharing takeout and reading reactions. Listen to this one. Caroline held up her phone. Best Karma video ever. The look on his face when they mentioned the board meeting. She scrolled further. It's got 2 million views already. Great, I mumbled around a mouthful of pad thai. Mom's gonna love that. Right on cue, my doorbell rang. We froze, chopsticks midair. Speaking of, Caroline grimaced. I opened the door to find our mother, perfectly coiffed despite the late hour, clutching her designer handbag like a shield. Well, she said, sweeping past me, I suppose I should be grateful I found out about this from the video rather than the country club gossip circle. Hello to you too, Mom. I closed the door. Would you like some pad thai? What I'd like, she perched on my sofa, is an explanation. Do you two have any idea what you've done? Caroline stood, shoulders back. Yes, actually. We exposed a cheater and a liar before he could humiliate me at your anniversary party. By humiliating him first? Creating a social media spectacle? No, I joined my sister. By telling the truth. Something Dylan and Rosalie should have tried. Mom's facade cracked slightly. Rosalie, too. But she was like a daughter to me. Yeah, well, Caroline's voice broke. She was like a sister to me, and that didn't stop her from sleeping with my fiancé in my own apartment. Mom's expression softened. She patted the sofa beside her. Sit, both of you. We complied, feeling like kids again. I received some interesting calls today, Mom continued, from the wives of several board members. They're all quite impressed with how you handled things. They are? I blinked. Apparently you're being hailed as some sort of, what did Margaret call it? Sister's goals? Mom shuddered delicately at the modern phrase. The point is, you protected each other, though your methods were rather dramatic. That was my idea, I admitted. The public exposure. No, Caroline interrupted. It was our idea. We did it together. Mom studied us for a long moment. You know, when you were little, all I wanted was for you to be close. But somewhere along the way, she sighed. Perhaps I contributed to the distance between you. Mom, I started. Let me finish. She straightened her skirt. Sawyer, I may have been unfair to you over the years, always comparing you to Caroline. May have been? Caroline scoffed. Caroline, Mom's voice sharpened. You're not innocent either. You've taken advantage of that favoritism. We sat in stunned silence. Our mother had never been this direct about family dynamics. The video of your confrontation made me realize something, she continued. You're strongest when you're together, and I'm proud of you both. You're proud of us causing a social media scandal? I couldn't help asking. I'm proud of you standing up for what's right. Mom actually smiled, though next time, perhaps consider a more private venue. Caroline laughed. No promises. Now, Mom stood, smoothing her dress. About the anniversary party next week. We don't have to go, Caroline said quickly. After all this drama. Of course you're going, Mom cut her off. In fact, I'm counting on it. Several guests have specifically asked if you'll be there. Apparently, they're hoping for an encore performance. I choked on my water. Mom! What? If my daughters are going to be internet sensations, I might as well embrace it. She headed for the door, then paused. Oh, and Sawyer, wear that emerald dress again. It suits you. After she left, Caroline and I stared at each other in disbelief. Did our mother just approve of our revenge plot? I asked. I think she did. Caroline grabbed her phone. And speaking of the anniversary party, have you seen Dylan's latest post? I leaned over to look. Dylan had posted a formal apology, claiming temporary insanity and begging for professional forgiveness. Damage control, I snorted. Too little, too late. Way too late, Caroline agreed. But you know what this means? What? He's desperate, which means he might try something at the anniversary party. Her eyes gleamed. Want to plan one more performance? I grabbed my laptop. Call Blaze. If Dylan wants an encore, let's give him one he'll never forget. As we began plotting, I realized something had fundamentally shifted. Not just between Caroline and me, but in how we saw ourselves. We weren't the golden child in the shadow anymore. We were simply sisters, united and unstoppable. And anyone who thought our cafe showdown was impressive hadn't seen anything yet. The country club ballroom glittered with 30 years of anniversary celebrations. Mom had outdone herself, crystal chandeliers, ice sculptures, and enough champagne to float a yacht. But Caroline and I were focused on the security feed playing on my phone. There, Caroline pointed. Dylan just arrived, and he's not alone. Sure enough, Rosalie slipped in through the side entrance moments after him. They were trying to be subtle, but the furtive glances gave them away. Right on schedule, I texted Blaze, who was monitoring the club's security system from his car outside. Start recording. I can't believe they actually came, Caroline whispered, accepting a champagne flute from a passing waiter. Of course they did. Dylan's father is on the board with Dad. Missing this party would be career suicide. Speaking of careers, Caroline nodded toward the entrance. Look who else showed up. Amanda, the wedding planner, strutted in wearing a dress that screamed revenge. She'd been furious about losing Caroline's commission, and even more furious when she discovered Dylan had been hitting on her assistant. Perfect, I grinned. Everyone's here. Ready? Caroline squared her shoulders. Born ready. We split up, working the room separately. I caught snippets of conversation as I moved through the crowd, mostly about our viral video with a healthy dose of speculation about tonight's events. Ladies and gentlemen, Dad's voice boomed through the speakers. If I could have your attention, that was my cue. I slipped behind the makeshift stage where the band was setting up, giving Blaze the signal through my phone. The lights dimmed slightly as Dad continued his anniversary speech. Mom beamed beside him, but her eyes kept darting to where Caroline stood near the dessert table. She knew something was coming. And now, Dad wrapped up, I believe my daughters have prepared a special presentation. Caroline joined me on stage as the giant screen behind us flickered to life. Confused murmurs rippled through the crowd when security camera footage appeared, showing Dylan and Rosalie entering the party separately. What is this? Dylan stood up, his face reddening. This, Caroline spoke into the microphone, is what a desperate man looks like. The screen split to show multiple angles of Dylan and Rosalie's arrival, along with timestamps from the past hour. Then it switched to footage from earlier that day, them meeting in a hotel lobby, planning their entrance. Turn it off, Dylan demanded, starting toward the stage. But wait, there's more. I took the microphone. Let's see what else our friend Dylan's been up to since our little cafe chat. The screen filled with screenshots. Dylan messaging other women, including Amanda's assistant. Messages to his father claiming Caroline was unstable. Emails to board members trying to spin the situation. You see, Caroline addressed the stunned crowd. Dylan thought he could salvage his reputation by painting us as crazy, vindictive women. Which might have worked, I added, if he hadn't used his company email for everything. Rosalie burst into tears and ran for the exit. Dylan stood frozen, watching his career implode in real time as board members and their wives whispered and pointed. Oh, and Dad? Caroline smiled sweetly at Dylan's father. You might want to audit those expense reports more carefully. We found some interesting charges from hotels, jewelry stores, all billed to the company account. Dylan's father rose slowly, his face thunderous. My office first thing Monday. He growled at his son. This is harassment, Dylan shouted, but his voice cracked. I'll sue. Go ahead, I challenged. Discovery would be fascinating. The room erupted in chaos as Dylan stormed out, his father close behind. Several board members followed, phones already out. Well, Mom appeared beside us as we left the stage. That was certainly more dramatic than the string quartet I suggested. Sorry, Mom, Caroline started. Don't be. Mom sipped her champagne. Margaret just told me it was the most entertaining anniversary party she's ever attended. She paused, though perhaps we should skip the video presentation at Christmas. The party shifted into celebration mode, with several guests stopping to congratulate us on our performance. Amanda caught my eye from across the room and raised her glass in approval. Think we went too far? Caroline asked quietly as we watched Dylan's mother make a hasty exit. He was going to destroy your reputation and my relationship with our family, I reminded her. He got what he deserved. True. She linked her arm through mine. Know what else is true? What? We make a pretty good team. Blaze joined us, laptop under his arm. Hate to interrupt the sister moment, but you might want to see this. The security footage just leaked online. What? Caroline grabbed his computer. How? Apparently someone in IT has a grudge against Dylan. Something about him getting his sister fired last year? I couldn't help laughing. Karma really is a full circle thing, isn't it? As the party swirled around us, I realized we'd done more than expose Dylan and Rosalie. We'd exposed our own strength, not as rivals, not as golden child and shadow, but as sisters who had each other's backs. And that was worth all the viral videos in the world. Monday morning brought the fallout we've been waiting for. Caroline and I met for coffee at our usual spot, phones buzzing with updates. Dylan's been suspended pending investigation. Caroline read from her screen. The board is launching a full audit. That's not all. I showed her my phone. Rosalie's been blacklisted from every major PR firm in the city. Apparently, sleeping with clients' fiancés is bad for business. The bell above the cafe door chimed. We looked up to see Amanda rushing in, her face flushed with excitement. You're not going to believe this. She slid into our booth without invitation. Dylan just tried to book my services again. What? Caroline nearly spilled her latte. For what? His wedding to Rosalie. Amanda's grin was wicked. Apparently they're trying to save face by claiming it was true love all along. You said no, right? I asked. Better. Amanda pulled out her tablet. I recorded the whole consultation. Wait till you hear his sob story. The video showed Dylan, looking considerably less polished than usual, sitting in Amanda's office. It's all been a terrible misunderstanding, Video Dylan pleaded. If we could just show everyone it was real love, not some tawdry affair. By booking the same venues I reserved for Caroline? Amanda's voice was acid sweet. Using the same company credit card you're being investigated for misusing? I can explain. Save it for the board meeting. Amanda's hand appeared, showing him the door. I hear they're very interested in your explanations lately. Caroline slow clapped as the video ended. Amanda, you're officially my hero. Please, Amanda waved her hand. After what he did to my assistant, this is just the beginning. My phone buzzed again, a message from Blaze. Speaking of beginnings, guess who just got promoted to head of cybersecurity? No way. Caroline peered at my screen. All because he helped expose the company's security vulnerabilities? Apparently, Dylan's father was impressed by his initiative in identifying potential threats. I laughed, though I doubt this was what he had in mind. The cafe door chimed again. This time, Rosalie walked in. She froze when she saw us, her designer outfit replaced by yoga pants and a messy bun. I'll handle this. Caroline stood before I could stop her. We watched as she approached Rosalie, who looked ready to bolt. But instead of the confrontation we expected, Caroline simply handed her a card. What was that about? I asked when she returned. Just giving her the number of my therapist. Caroline shrugged. Someone that desperate for attention clearly needs help. That's surprisingly mature of you. Well, she stirred her coffee. Holding on to anger only hurts me. Besides, karma's doing a pretty good job on its own. Amanda's phone pinged. Speaking of karma, Dylan's father just called. Wants to know if I've heard from his son. Apparently he missed the board meeting this morning. Missed it? I frowned. That's not like him. Caroline's phone lit up with a news alert. She read it and burst out laughing. What? Amanda and I asked simultaneously. Dylan was caught trying to leave the country last night, with company funds. Caroline could barely get the words out. Airport security stopped him because someone reported his credit cards as stolen. Someone? I raised an eyebrow at Blaze's contact photo on my phone. The best part, Caroline continued, Rosalie turned him in. She's cooperating with the investigation in exchange for immunity. Hell hath no fury, Amanda mused. Like a woman scorned, I suggested. Like two sisters with a good plan and better tech support, Caroline corrected. My phone buzzed one final time. A message from Mom. Lunch today? Your father wants to discuss making you both partners in the family business. Caroline read the message over my shoulder. Both of us, really? Why not? I smiled. We've proven we work well together. That we do. She clinked her coffee cup against mine. Though maybe we should stick to legal business strategies from now on. Probably safer, Amanda agreed, though less entertaining for the rest of us. As we laughed and shared more updates about Dylan's downfall, I realized something. The shadow I'd lived in for so long hadn't just lifted, it had transformed into a spotlight big enough for both Caroline and me. You know what this means, right? Caroline interrupted my thoughts. What? Mom's going to expect us to coordinate our outfits for board meetings now. As long as it's not another emerald dress, I grinned. Deal. She grabbed her purse. Ready to go shock Dad with our business proposals? Born ready, I echoed her words from the party. As we left the cafe, Amanda called after us. Try not to cause any more scandals. No promises, we called back in unison. Because while our revenge saga might be over, our story as sisters was just beginning. And something told me it would be even better than the viral videos suggested. Ready for this? Caroline squeezed my hand as we stood outside the boardroom. Through the glass walls, we could see our father addressing the board members. As ready as I'll ever be, I smoothed my blazer, navy blue, not emerald green. You remember your part? Please, she rolled her eyes. I was born for this presentation. Dad's voice carried through the door. And now I'd like to introduce our newest partners. We walked in together, shoulders back, heads high. The same board members who'd witnessed Dylan's downfall now sat watching us with keen interest. His empty chair stood as a reminder of how quickly fortunes could change. Good morning, Caroline began, her voice steady. Today we're presenting our vision for the company's future. I clicked to the first slide, starting with a complete digital transformation of our client services. The presentation flowed smoothly between us, each picking up where the other left off. When we finished, the room stayed silent for a long moment. Impressive, Dylan's father spoke first, surprising everyone, particularly the cybersecurity initiatives, though I suppose recent events have shown how necessary those are. Speaking of recent events, another board member leaned forward. How do we know you two won't bring more drama to the company? Fair question. I met his gaze. What happened with Dylan was about protecting our family, both personal and professional. Every action we took was to expose genuine threats to this company. And it worked, Caroline added. The audit revealed he'd embezzled over $2 million. Our actions saved this company from a much bigger scandal. By creating a smaller one? Someone muttered. No, Dad stood. By showing initiative, resourcefulness, and an unwavering commitment to truth. Exactly the qualities we need in leadership. Mom chose that moment to enter, carrying a stack of folders. The final audit reports, she announced, distributing them, including the recovery plan my daughters developed. The board members flipped through the documents, eyebrows raising at the detailed analysis. This is thorough, Dylan's father admitted. We protect what's ours, I said simply. And we're very good at it, Caroline finished. The vote was unanimous. Later, celebrating in Dad's office, Mom pulled out a familiar envelope. Remember this? She handed it to me. I recognized it immediately. The envelope that had started everything, containing those first screenshots of Dylan's messages. Keep it, Mom said, as a reminder that sometimes the worst moments lead to the best outcomes. Like finding out your sister is actually your best ally? Caroline bumped my shoulder. Or discovering your daughters are smarter than you gave them credit for, Dad added, pouring champagne. Or learning that karma works better with a good strategy and better timing, I grinned. A knock interrupted us. Amanda poked her head in. Sorry to interrupt, but you might want to see this. She held up her phone. Rosalie just posted her tell-all interview. We crowded around the screen, watching Rosalie detail every aspect of Dylan's schemes. The comment section was exploding. Well, Mom sighed, at least we're not the ones creating drama this time. No, Caroline smiled. We're just the ones who started it. And finished it, I added. To new beginnings, Dad raised his glass. And Sister Axe. Caroline clinked her glass against mine. Speaking of Axe, Amanda scrolled through her phone. That video of your anniversary party revenge just hit 10 million views. You're officially viral sensations. Great, I groaned. Just what every corporate executive wants on their resume. Actually, Mom's eyes twinkled. The marketing department wants to discuss your social media presence. Apparently, you've made our family business relevant to millennials. We all laughed, but there was truth there. Everything had changed. Our relationships, our roles, our futures. The shadow I'd lived in had become a spotlight we shared, and the sister I'd envied had become my closest ally. You know what this means? Caroline nudged me. What? Next board meeting, we're definitely wearing matching outfits. As long as they're not emerald green, everyone finished in unison. Looking around at my family, Mom finally seeing me clearly, Dad trusting us with his legacy, and Caroline standing beside me as an equal, I realized something profound. Sometimes the happy ending isn't about getting revenge or proving yourself. Sometimes it's about discovering that what you wanted all along was right there, waiting for you to be brave enough to claim it. To the Townsend sisters, Amanda raised her glass. To family, Mom and Dad echoed. To us, Caroline whispered, linking her arm through mine. To us, I agreed, knowing that whatever came next, we'd face it together. Because that's what sisters do. Especially sisters who've learned that the best revenge isn't just living well, it's living well together. The manila envelope sat unopened on my desk, its presence mocking me as Frank's words still rang in my ears. I'm leaving you for Rosalie, my secretary. He'd said it so casually, like he was telling me he'd picked up milk from the store. I'm Lillian, and until exactly 47 minutes ago, I thought I was living the American dream. Successful husband, beautiful daughter in college, and a secret tech startup that was about to change everything. Now, I was just another statistic, a woman being left for someone younger. Mom? Jayla's voice crackled through my phone speaker. Dad just texted me something weird. Are you okay? My fingers trembled as I gripped the phone tighter. Can you come over, sweetie? We need to talk. I'm already on my way. While waiting for Jayla, I finally picked up the envelope. Inside was a letter from Griffin, one of Silicon Valley's most prominent investors, expressing interest in my startup. The irony wasn't lost on me, my greatest professional triumph arriving alongside my greatest personal failure. The doorbell rang, and I opened it to find not just Jayla, but Eloise too. My best friend must have heard the news through our mutual contacts. Oh, honey, Eloise said, pulling me into a hug. I came as soon as I heard. Jayla stood behind her, eyes wide with concern. Mom, what's happening? We moved to the living room, the same room where Frank and I had spent countless evenings planning our future. Now it felt like a museum of broken promises. Your father, I started, then cleared my throat. Your father is leaving us for Rosalie. His secretary? Jayla's voice cracked. The one who brought us Christmas cookies? The very same, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. He moved out this morning while I was at work. Eloise cursed under her breath. That coward couldn't even face you properly? He left a note on the kitchen counter, I said, gesturing to the crumpled paper on the coffee table. Said he'd send someone for his things. Jayla picked up the note, her hands shaking. How long? 6 months, according to him, though who knows if that's even true. I saw them together last week at that new cafe downtown, Eloise admitted, looking guilty. I convinced myself it was just a business lunch. The doorbell rang again, making us all jump. Through the window, I could see Johnny, my business partner, standing on the porch with a concerned expression. Come in, I called out, not bothering to get up. Johnny entered, his usually cheerful face serious. I just heard from Eva at the office. Lillian, I'm so sorry. Eva knows? I asked, suddenly feeling sick. Eva was Rosalie's sister, my colleague, and until today, someone I considered a friend. She claims she had no idea, Johnny said, sitting down beside me. She's devastated, actually. Says she wants to talk to you when you're ready. Jayla stood up abruptly. I need to call Dad. This can't be real. As she stormed upstairs, Eloise followed, leaving me alone with Johnny and the investor's letter. What's that? Johnny nodded toward the envelope in my hands. Griffin wants to invest. I said flatly. He wants to meet next week. Johnny's eyes widened. That's huge, Lillian. This could change everything. Everything's already changed, I whispered, but then something shifted inside me. Maybe it was the shock wearing off, or maybe it was the realization that I had more to lose than just my marriage. I stood up, smoothing my skirt. Schedule the meeting with Griffin, and Johnny, don't tell anyone about this yet, especially not Eva. Of course, he replied, watching me carefully. What are you thinking? I'm thinking it's time to show everyone exactly what I'm capable of. I picked up Frank's note and tore it in half, starting with my dear husband. From upstairs, I could hear Jayla's muffled sobs and Eloise's soothing voice. My heart ached for my daughter, but beneath the pain, something else was growing. Determination. My phone buzzed with a text from Frank. I hope you understand. We can keep this civil. I deleted the message without responding. Civil? He hadn't been civil when he'd been sneaking around with Rosalie. He hadn't been civil when he'd left me with nothing but a note. The investor's letter felt heavy in my hands, a lifeline thrown just when I needed it most. Frank might have taken my present, but he wouldn't take my future. Not anymore. I looked at Johnny, who was still watching me with concern. Want to help me change the world? He smiled, and for the first time that day, I felt something close to hope. Always. 3 days after Frank left, I finally forced myself to check our joint accounts. The numbers on the screen made my coffee go cold in my hands. He did what? Eloise nearly shouted across my kitchen table. That's not just unethical, it's illegal. Transferred almost everything, I said, turning my laptop to show her. Left just enough to avoid immediate suspicion. Must have been siphoning it off for months. My phone buzzed. Eva again. I'd been avoiding her calls since the news about Frank and Rosalie broke, but now I wondered if she might have useful information. You should talk to her, Eloise said, reading my mind. Ava's not Rosalie. She's been your friend for years. Fine, I answered the next call. Ava? Lillian, thank God. Her voice was strained. I've been trying to reach you. Can we meet? Please? There's something you need to know. 20 minutes later, Eva sat across from me at a quiet cafe, her hands wrapped around an untouched latte. I had no idea about Rosalie and Frank. I swear on my life. I believe you, I said, surprising myself by meaning it. There's more. Eva leaned forward. I overheard Rosalie on the phone yesterday. She's not planning to stay with Frank. She's using him to get ahead in his company. Then she's going to leave him for someone else. The irony should have made me laugh, but instead I felt hollow. Does he know? No, and I'm not supposed to know either. Eva's eyes were pleading. I want to help you, Lillian. Whatever you need. My phone buzzed with a text from Johnny. Griffin confirmed for 2 p.m. You ready? Actually, I said to Eva, there is something you can help with. How much do you know about quantum computing? 2 hours later, I walked into Griffin's office with Johnny by my side. The investor's corner office screamed old money, but his eyes were sharp and modern. Show me what you've got, Griffin said, skipping pleasantries. I pulled out my tablet and launched the presentation. We're not just building another quantum computer. We're revolutionizing how they interface with existing systems. As I walked him through the technology, I could see Griffin's expression shifting from polite interest to genuine excitement. Johnny jumped in with technical details, and together we painted a picture of the future, our future. Impressive, Griffin said when we finished. But your competition has nothing like this, I interrupted, pulling up one final slide. Because of this. I showed him the patent application Eva had helped fast-track through her connections. Griffin leaned back, a slow smile spreading across his face. How much are you looking for? Later that evening, as Johnny and I celebrated over takeout in the office, my phone lit up with a text from Frank. Need to talk about the house. Dinner tomorrow? Don't go, Johnny said, reading my expression. Whatever he wants, let the lawyers handle it. I have to know what he's planning. I replied to Frank with a simple, okay. Johnny moved closer, his concern evident. Then let me come with you, as backup. No, I said, touching his arm briefly. I need to do this alone. The next evening, I walked into the restaurant where Frank and I had celebrated our last anniversary. He was already there, looking somehow smaller than I remembered. You look good, he said as I sat down. Save it. I opened my banking app. Want to explain where our savings went? His face fell. Lil, I can explain. Don't call me that. I kept my voice steady. Just tell me why. I needed capital for a new venture. I was going to pay it back. He reached for my hand, but I pulled away. Things have been complicated at work. Complicated enough to steal from your wife? Ex-wife? He corrected automatically, then winced at his own words. My phone buzzed. A message from Eva. Rosalie just booked a flight to Miami, one-way ticket. I stood up, leaving Frank mid-explanation. Good luck with your complications, Frank. You're going to need it. Walking out, I called Johnny. Remember that press release we were holding back on? Release it tomorrow and call Griffin. Tell him we're ready to move faster. Are you sure? Johnny asked. Once we announce the patent, I'm sure. I got into my car, watching Frank through the restaurant window as he sat alone, staring at his phone. It's time everyone knew exactly what we've built. The engine hummed to life, and with it, my resolve strengthened. Frank had always underestimated me, treated my work as a hobby. He wasn't the only one. Our entire industry had dismissed my ideas as unrealistic. Well, they were about to learn just how wrong they'd been. All of them. The press release hit like a tsunami. By noon, my phone wouldn't stop ringing, and our company's website had crashed 3 times from the traffic. Mom? Jayla stood in my office doorway, looking uncertain. I saw the news. Why didn't you tell me? I gestured for her to come in, closing my laptop. I wanted to protect you from all this. I'm not a kid anymore. She sat down, fiddling with her bracelet, a nervous habit she'd inherited from me. Dad called. He sounds scared. He should be. I pulled up an email on my screen. Look what Eva just sent me. Jayla leaned in to read the internal memo from Frank's company. Their stock had dropped 15% since our announcement. Our patent had effectively made their main project obsolete. Did you know, Jayla asked, when you filed the patent, that it would hurt his company? Yes. I met her eyes. That it would hurt him? That was just a bonus. My phone buzzed. Griffin again. This time I answered. Lillian, you brilliant woman. His voice boomed through the speaker. The board is ready to triple our investment. How fast can you get downtown? Give me 30 minutes. I hung up and looked at Jayla. Want to see how your mom changes the world? She smiled, the first real smile I'd seen from her in weeks. Can we get ice cream after? Deal. Griffin's boardroom was packed with investors when we arrived. Johnny was already there, looking sharp in his best suit. He gave Jayla a warm hug before pulling out chairs for both of us. Ladies and gentlemen, Griffin began, I believe you've all seen the news. Lillian, would you like to walk us through the next phase? I stood up, feeling every eye in the room. Our quantum interface isn't just theoretical anymore. We have a working prototype. The room erupted in murmurs. Johnny pulled up the demonstration on the main screen while I continued. Traditional quantum computers require specialized environments and expertise. Our interface makes quantum computing accessible to any existing system. We're not just building better computers, we're democratizing the future. 2 hours later, we walked out with full funding and a development timeline that would put us in market within 6 months. Jayla hugged me tight outside the building. That was amazing. You were amazing. Ice cream time? I asked, but my phone buzzed again. Ava's name flashed on the screen. Take it, Jayla said. I'll wait by the car. Eva, what's wrong? Rosalie's gone. Ava's voice was shaky. She cleaned out Frank's personal accounts this morning and disappeared. He's at the office having a complete meltdown. I leaned against a nearby wall, processing this. Did she leave anything behind? Just a note saying she never loved him. Lillian, there's something else. She took documents from his office. Sensitive ones. My laugh surprised even me. Karma's quite the artist, isn't it? Frank's asking about you. He knows you're behind the patent that's tanking his company's stock. Good. I watched Jayla by the car, scrolling through her phone. Let him know exactly what he threw away. He's not the only one worried, Eva continued. The board is meeting tomorrow. There's talk of forcing him out. After hanging up, I joined Jayla at the car. Change of plans. How about we get that ice cream to go and have a movie night at home? Like we used to. Her eyes lit up. Can we build a blanket fort? Absolutely. At home, halfway through our second movie and surrounded by blankets and pillows, my phone lit up with a text from Johnny. Turn on the business news. Now. I grabbed the remote, switching channels just in time to see Frank's company announcing an emergency board meeting. The ticker showed their stock down another 12%. Is this because of your patent? Jayla asked quietly. Partly. I pulled her closer. But mostly it's because your father made bad decisions, in business and in life. He called again while you were in the bathroom, said he needs to see you, said it's urgent. I turned off the TV. He'll have to wait. Tonight is for us. Later, after Jayla had fallen asleep on the couch, I checked my emails one last time. There was a message from Griffin with the subject line, Tomorrow's Headlines. Attached was an advance copy of a major tech magazine's article about our company. The title read, The Future of Computing, How One Woman's Vision Could Change Everything. I closed my laptop and looked at my sleeping daughter, thinking about legacy and karma and the strange ways life balances its books. Frank had tried to leave me with nothing. Instead, he'd freed me to become everything I was meant to be. My phone buzzed with another message from him. Please, I need your help. I turned off my phone without replying. Tomorrow would bring its own challenges, but tonight, in our blanket fort, we were safe. We were whole. We were enough. The stack of papers Ava had just handed me felt like dynamite in my hands. Financial records, unauthorized transactions, falsified reports, all bearing Frank's signature. He's been cooking the books for years, Ava said, her voice barely above a whisper in my office. Rosalie didn't just take his money. She took his insurance policy against prosecution. Does he know you found these copies? Ava shook her head. I made these before she left. I knew you'd need them. My desk phone buzzed. Lillian, Johnny's here with the prototype team, my assistant announced. Send them in. I turned to Eva. Thank you for everything. The next hour was a blur of technical discussions and timeline adjustments. Our prototype was exceeding expectations, but Johnny looked worried. What's wrong? I asked when the team left. Griffin called. Frank's been trying to reach him, claiming we stole intellectual property from his company. I pulled out the documents Eva had brought. Let him try. Look what I just got. Johnny's eyes widened as he read. This could put him in prison. I know. I stood up, walking to the window. That's not what I want. What do you want? Before I could answer, my phone lit up with a text from Jayla. Dad's at my dorm. He's drunk. I have to go, I told Johnny, grabbing my keys. Call Griffin. Tell him to meet us tomorrow morning. And Johnny, bring the prototype. I found Frank sitting on the steps outside Jayla's dorm, his tie loose and hair disheveled. She won't see me, he slurred. My own daughter. Get in the car, Frank. I helped him up, ignoring the stares from passing students. You're making a scene. Everything's gone, he mumbled as I drove. Rosalie, the company, you, all gone. You did this to yourself. I know. He pressed his forehead against the window. The board voted this morning. I'm out, effective immediately. I pulled into a coffee shop parking lot. Why are you telling me this? Because you won. He turned to face me, his eyes red. You destroyed everything I built. No, Frank, you destroyed it. I just built something better. They're investigating me. The SEC, the board, they found irregularities. I know. I handed him a coffee from the drive-thru. Sober up. Go home. Call your lawyer. Home? He laughed bitterly. Rosalie sold the condo before she left. Did you know that? She had power of attorney. My phone buzzed. Johnny again. Griffin's set for 9 a.m. Prototype ready for full demonstration. I have to go, I told Frank. Call a cab. And Frank, stay away from Jayla until you're sober. Back at the office, I found Johnny working late, the prototype humming quietly in the test lab. Everything okay? He asked, noting my expression. No, but it will be. I sat down beside him. Show me where we are. As Johnny walked me through the latest improvements, I felt the weight of the day lifting. This was what mattered. Not revenge, not Frank's downfall, but creating something meaningful. Lillian? Johnny's voice was soft. There's something else. He pulled up an email on his screen. It was from a major tech conference inviting me to be their keynote speaker. The same conference where 3 years ago, Frank had told me my ideas were unrealistic. Say yes, Johnny urged. Show them all what you've built. My phone buzzed with a text from Jayla. Dad's gone. Can I come to the office? I don't want to be alone. Of course, sweetie, I replied, then looked at Johnny. Want to help me order some late-night pizza? An hour later, Jayla sat cross-legged on my office floor, watching in awe as Johnny demonstrated the prototype. So, this is what you've been working on all these years? She asked, while Dad was saying it was just a hobby. This is it. I joined her on the floor. What do you think? I think, she smiled, I think he never deserved you, Mom. My phone lit up with another text. Eva this time. Board meeting tomorrow. They're announcing Frank's replacement. You should be there. I showed the message to Johnny, who grinned. Perfect timing for our demonstration to Griffin. Looking at my daughter and my closest friend, surrounded by the technology we'd built and the future we were creating, I felt something shift inside me. This wasn't about destroying Frank anymore. It was about building something he could never take away. Mom? Jayla touched my arm. Are you okay? Better than okay. I pulled her into a hug. I'm finally free. The invitations to our product launch went out on a Tuesday morning. I saved Frank's for last, my cursor hovering over his email address for a full minute before clicking send. Are you sure about this? Johnny asked, watching me from across my desk. Inviting him could backfire. I want him there. I closed my laptop. I want him to see exactly what he walked away from. My phone buzzed. Eloise was calling. Have you seen what Rosalie just posted? I pulled up social media and felt my stomach clench. There she was, on a yacht in Miami with some tech billionaire, wearing a bikini that probably cost more than Frank's monthly salary. She works fast, I muttered. That's not all, Eloise continued. Check your email. A new message had just arrived, from Rosalie herself. The subject line read, About your launch event. Don't open it, Johnny warned. But I already had. Dear Lillian, I read aloud. Congratulations on your success. I'd love to attend your launch and show there are no hard feelings. After all, we both know Frank wasn't worth fighting over. Best wishes, Rosalie. Johnny cursed under his breath. She's trying to provoke you. She succeeded. I typed a quick reply. Looking forward to seeing you there. Lillian, no. But I'd already hit send. The office door opened and Griffin strode in, his usual confidence tempered by concern. We need to talk about security for the launch. I'm hearing rumors. What kind of rumors? Frank's been making calls, telling people your technology is stolen. He's desperate, which makes him dangerous. My phone lit up with a text from Eva. Rosalie's back in town. She's meeting with Frank's former board members. Let them come, I said, standing up. All of them. It's time to end this. The next few days were a whirlwind of preparations. The prototype was perfected, the presentation rehearsed, and the venue secured. But something felt off about Johnny. I found him alone in the lab late one night, staring at the prototype. Want to tell me what's wrong? Nothing's wrong. He didn't meet my eyes. Everything's perfect. Johnny. He finally looked at me. I worry that this is still about him, about Frank. It's not, isn't it? He stepped closer. You're inviting him, and Rosalie, and everyone who ever doubted you. This isn't just a product launch anymore, Lillian. It's a statement. Maybe I need to make one. Or maybe, he touched my arm gently, you need to let go. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. Jayla was calling. Mom, Dad's here again. He's saying crazy things about your company, about stolen patents. I'm on my way. I grabbed my keys, but Johnny stopped me. Let me come with you. When we arrived at Jayla's dorm, Frank was pacing the parking lot, waving a stack of papers. There you are, he shouted when he saw me. Tell them how you stole my research. Your research? Johnny stepped between us. You never believed in this technology. You called it a fantasy. Stay out of this. Frank tried to push past him. She's using my work. No, Frank. I kept my voice steady. I'm using mine. The work you dismissed, remember? The projects you called my cute little hobby? Security's coming, Jayla announced, appearing behind us. I called them. Frank's face crumpled. Jayla, Princess, don't. She moved closer to me. Just go, Dad. Please. As campus security approached, Frank backed away, still clutching his papers. This isn't over, Lillian. Actually, it is. I pulled out an envelope. Your invitation to the launch. Come see for yourself what I've built, what I've always been capable of. Later that night, after getting Jayla settled, Johnny and I sat in my car in silence. "You're right," I finally said. "This isn't just about the technology anymore." "I know." He took my hand. "Just don't let it consume you. You're better than revenge." My phone lit up with another message from Rosalie. "Looking forward to the show. Hope you don't mind. I'm bringing a date." I showed Johnny the message, then deleted it. "The launch is in 3 days. Everything has to be perfect." "It will be." He squeezed my hand. "But Lillian, after this is over, maybe we could—" "Mom?" Jayla tapped on the window. "Can we get some ice cream?" I looked at Johnny, saw the unspoken words in his eyes, and felt something shift in my chest. "Ice cream sounds perfect. Want to join us?" His smile was answer enough. As we walked toward the ice cream shop, I deleted Frank's contact from my phone. The launch would be my final statement, but maybe Johnny was right. Maybe after that, it would be time to let go. 24 hours before the launch, everything went wrong. "What do you mean Griffin's having doubts?" I gripped my phone tighter, pacing my office. "The demonstration is tomorrow. He received some documents," Johnny explained, his voice tense. "Anonymous source. They're making him nervous?" Frank. The name tasted bitter. It has to be. My computer pinged with an urgent email. Our main investor was requesting an emergency meeting. Now. "I have to go," I told Johnny. "Get the prototype ready. We're doing a private demo for Griffin in 1 hour." The elevator ride to Griffin's office felt endless. When I arrived, his assistant's face told me everything I needed to know. "He's waiting for you," she said softly, "with the board." I walked into a room full of concerned faces and opened laptops. Griffin sat at the head of the table holding a familiar-looking file. "Lillian," he started, "we've received some concerning information about your patent applications." "From Frank?" I pulled out my own folder. "Let me guess. He claims I stole his research?" "Among other things." Griffin slid the file across the table. "He's threatening legal action." "Read this first." I handed him Eva's documentation of Frank's financial fraud. "My ex-husband is desperate. He's lost everything, and he's trying to take me down with him." Griffin's eyes widened as he read. "This is serious. So is what we're building." I stood up straighter. "Give me 1 hour. Let me show you the prototype. If you still have doubts after that, I'll understand." My phone buzzed. Jayla. "Mom, something's wrong. Rosalie just showed up at my dorm." "One moment," I told Griffin, stepping out to call Jayla. "She's asking weird questions about your work," Jayla whispered. "About the prototype. She says she wants to make things right, but Mom, I don't trust her." "Stay away from her. I'm sending Eloise to pick you up." Back in the boardroom, Griffin was finishing the documents. 1 hour, Lillian. Convince us." I called Johnny on my way back to the office. "Is the prototype ready?" "Ready, but—" "Lillian, Eva just called. Rosalie's been meeting with our competitors." "I know. She's trying to sabotage the launch." I entered the lab where our team was making final adjustments. But we're not going to let her. The next hour was the most important presentation of my life. As Johnny and I demonstrated the prototype, I could see the doubt melting from Griffin's eyes, replaced by excitement. "This is revolutionary," he breathed, watching the quantum interface process calculations that would take traditional computers years to complete. "Why didn't you show us this sooner?" "Because now it's perfect." I smiled, but my phone buzzed again. Frank calling. "Excuse me," I stepped out. "What do you want?" "I need to see you." His voice was shaky. "Please, Lillian. Before tomorrow. There's something you need to know. Whatever it is, tell it to my lawyers. It's about Rosalie. She's planning something for the launch. Something bad." I froze. "What do you mean?" "She has investors lined up. She's going to announce a competing product, claim it's based on her work with me. She's trying to steal your moment." "Why are you telling me this?" There was a long pause. "Because I was wrong. About everything. About you." Johnny appeared in the doorway, giving me a questioning look. I held up one finger. "It's too late, Frank." "I know." He sounded defeated. "Just be careful tomorrow. Rosalie's dangerous when she's desperate." After hanging up, I found Johnny waiting. "Griffin's convinced. We're good to go for tomorrow." "Frank says Rosalie's planning something." Johnny stepped closer, his hand finding mine. Let her try. This is your moment, Lillian. You've earned it. Have I? I looked at our joined hands. Sometimes I wonder if I've let this consume me. The revenge, the need to prove myself. Hey. He tilted my chin up. You built something amazing. Not to get back at Frank, not to prove anything, but because you're brilliant. Don't let anyone take that away from you. My phone buzzed one final time. Jayla. Safe with Eloise. We'll see you tomorrow, Mom. Show them what you're made of. Looking at that message, then at Johnny, I felt the weight of tomorrow pressing down. The launch would either be my greatest triumph or my most public failure. But standing there, with Johnny's hand in mine and our prototype humming behind us, I realized something important. I was ready. For whatever came next. For success or failure, for Rosalie's schemes, for Frank's regrets, for Johnny's unspoken feelings, for all of it. Let's run through the presentation one more time, I said, squeezing Johnny's hand before letting go. Tomorrow would change everything, one way or another. The auditorium buzzed with anticipation. Through the curtain, I could see Rosalie in the front row, wearing a red dress that screamed for attention. Frank sat near the back, looking smaller than I remembered. Griffin paced the side aisle, checking his phone. 5 minutes. Johnny squeezed my shoulder. You ready? Born ready. I adjusted my microphone. Where's Jayla? Here, Mom. My daughter appeared backstage, followed by Eloise. The prototype's all set up. We tested it 3 times. Eva rushed in, breathless. Rosalie's up to something. She keeps texting someone and she has a USB drive. Let her try. I hugged Jayla tight. This is our moment. The lights dimmed and Griffin took the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Today, we're witnessing history. As he introduced me, I caught Frank's eye. He mouthed something that looked like, I'm sorry, but I was already walking onto the stage, into the spotlight. 3 years ago, I began, someone told me my ideas were unrealistic, that quantum computing would never be accessible to everyday systems. I paused, letting my gaze sweep the audience. Today, I'm going to prove them wrong. The presentation flowed perfectly. The prototype performed flawlessly, drawing gasps and applause as it demonstrated capabilities that seemed like magic, but were pure science. Then Rosalie stood up. Question, she called out, not waiting to be acknowledged. Isn't this technology remarkably similar to what Frank's company was developing? Before I could respond, Johnny stepped forward with a remote. Actually, let's address that. He pulled up a split screen showing both systems. As you can see, our approach is fundamentally different. But the base code, Rosalie started, was written by me, I interrupted, 2 years before Frank's company even considered quantum computing. We have the documentation to prove it. She pulled out her USB drive. I have evidence? Of what? Eva stood up from her seat. More lies, Rosalie, like the ones you told Frank before stealing his money and running to Miami? The audience murmured. Rosalie's face flushed red. Speaking of evidence, Griffin added, stepping forward, we have some interesting documents about intellectual property theft. Would you like to discuss those, Rosalie? She sat down hard, her USB drive forgotten. I turned back to the presentation, but movement at the back caught my eye. Frank was standing, walking toward the stage. Lillian, he called out, his voice breaking. Tell them how brilliant you've always been, how I tried to hold you back because I was jealous. Tell them how I failed you. The room fell silent. Johnny moved closer to me, protective. No, Frank. I met his eyes. You don't get to make this about you, not anymore. Turning back to the audience, I continued. What we're launching today isn't just technology. It's proof that sometimes the best revenge is success. The best response to doubt is excellence. And the best way forward is forward. The demonstration concluded to a standing ovation. As investors rushed the stage, I saw Rosalie slip out the back door. Frank remained standing, watching, until Jayla approached him. Dad, she said, loud enough for nearby people to hear, I think you should go. He nodded, shoulders slumping, and walked out alone. Later, during the champagne reception, Griffin announced the first round of orders. The numbers made my head spin. We did it, Johnny whispered, appearing at my side with 2 glasses. You did it. We did. I took a glass, noticing how his hand lingered on mine. Johnny, about what you were trying to say the other night. Mom, Jayla interrupted, running up with her phone. You're trending. The tech blogs are going crazy. Eloise joined us, grinning. And wait until they see tomorrow's papers. Ava leaked the story about Rosalie's Miami escapade. Speaking of Eva, I looked around. Where is she? Dealing with reporters, Johnny said. They all want interviews with the woman who just revolutionized computing. I watched my daughter showing Eloise the social media reactions, saw Johnny's proud smile, felt the weight of Griffin's success in my pocket, and suddenly it hit me. This victory wasn't about Frank or Rosalie or revenge. Johnny, I turned to him. Ask me again. What you were going to ask the other night. He set down his champagne. Have dinner with me? Just us? Yes. I smiled, feeling lighter than I had in months. But first, let's celebrate with our family. I gathered Jayla, Eloise, Eva, and Johnny for a photo. As the camera flashed, I realized something. Frank had tried to leave me with nothing, but instead he'd given me everything: freedom, purpose, and people who believed in me not despite my ambitions, but because of them. The revenge had been sweet, but this moment with my real family was sweeter. The morning sun streamed through my office windows as I signed the final acquisition papers. Griffin beamed from across the desk, while Johnny squeezed my hand under the table. Congratulations, Griffin said, collecting the documents. You're now officially the highest valued tech startup in Silicon Valley history. My phone buzzed. A news alert about Frank. I opened it, then showed it to Johnny. Former tech executive accepts position teaching high school computer science. Good for him, Johnny said softly. Everyone deserves a second chance. The door burst open and Jayla rushed in, waving her phone. Mom, have you seen this? Rosalie's company just filed for bankruptcy. Karma comes for everyone eventually, Eva remarked, following behind her. Even my sister. I stood up, gathering everyone's attention. Since you're all here, there's something I need to say. If it's about the merger rumors, Griffin started, but I shook my head. It's about family. I moved to the window, looking out at the city below. When Frank left, I thought he was taking everything. My security, my confidence, my future. I wanted revenge because I thought it would fill that void. Johnny stepped closer, but let me continue. But look what happened instead. I turned back to the room. I got all of you. A daughter who believes in me, friends who became family, and I met Johnny's eyes, someone who saw my potential even when I couldn't. Mom, Jayla's eyes welled up. So, I'm making some changes. I pulled out a stack of papers. Eva, you're now Chief Operating Officer. Eloise, I need your PR expertise full-time, and Johnny... Yes? His voice was barely a whisper. I need a co-CEO who's not afraid to tell me when I'm letting revenge cloud my judgment. The room erupted in cheers and hugs. As everyone celebrated, my phone buzzed again. Frank calling. This time I answered. Lillian, I didn't think you'd pick up. What do you need, Frank? Nothing. I saw the news about the acquisition. I wanted to say congratulations. You deserve it, all of it. Thank you. I watched Johnny spinning Jayla around the office in celebration. I heard about your teaching job. Yeah, he chuckled softly. Turns out I'm pretty good at it. The kids, they remind me to stay humble. Good. That's good, Frank. Lillian? His voice cracked. I really am sorry. For everything. I know. And suddenly I did know. Be happy, Frank, and be better. After hanging up, I joined the others. Eloise was already planning the press conference. Ava was reorganizing org charts, and Griffin was calling his contacts. But Johnny pulled me aside. You okay? Better than okay. I touched his cheek. I'm free. Free enough for dinner tonight? Actually, I grinned. I have a better idea. That evening, I hosted a dinner at my house. Not a business dinner or a networking event, but a family dinner. Jayla helped cook, Eloise brought wine, Eva made her famous dessert, and Johnny arrived early to help set up. As we sat around my dining table, laughing and sharing stories, I realized something profound. Revenge hadn't made me whole. This had. These people, this moment, this feeling of belonging. A toast, Griffin raised his glass. To the future. To family, Jayla added. To love, Johnny said quietly, his eyes meeting mine. My phone lay silent in another room. Frank's number now unblocked, but no longer important. Rosalie's drama felt like a distant memory. The revenge that had driven me seemed small compared to the joy filling my dining room. "To second chances," I said, raising my glass, "and to the family we choose." Later, as Johnny and I stood on my back porch watching the others leave, he turned to me. "You know what I love about you?" he asked. "My brilliant mind, my successful company, my excellent taste in co-CEOs. Your heart." He pulled me close. "Even after everything, you found a way to let go of the anger without losing yourself." Inside, Jayla was FaceTiming her new boyfriend. Eloise and Eva were planning a girls' trip, and Griffin was leaving voicemails about tomorrow's meetings. The sound of their voices, the warmth of Johnny's embrace, the peace in my heart. It was all so far from where I'd been when Frank first left. "Ready to go inside?" Johnny asked. I looked up at him, at the life waiting for me through those doors, and smiled. "I'm ready for everything." Because that's the thing about revenge. Sometimes it leads you exactly where you need to be, even if it's not where you thought you were going. And sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's finding your own happiness, on your own terms, with the people who choose to stay.